All right, this is something a bit new for us. It's a fat tire cargo bike, really a all-terrain, go anywhere, do anything type of bike. The type of stuff that I'm kind of into. I don't tend to get off-road as much as I like, but I think I might more with the bike like this. This is the Tern Orox. It's available with two different drivetrains, the 12-speed derailleur version called the S12, and they also have the R14 version, which is a roll-off 14-speed internally geared hub with the belt drive. Now the name Orox, you might be wondering, as I was, what is an Orox? You might not be that familiar because the Orox is this actually extinct animal, but it's kind of a bull. I don't know what your first thought when you thought of an Orox, but this kind of feels like a wild bull. Fat tire bikes, I think they've kind of become more popular over the past 10, 15 years. Haven't seen too many fat tire cargo bikes, but the concept of fat tires is pretty cool because you can ride on-road, off-road. You don't really generally need suspension because the tires provide quite a bit of it. You can run them at lower pressure and you can ride it off-road, rough terrain, even ride it on sand. Although I would caution you, particularly near the ocean, as salt water can tend to corrode things. But maybe that might be an instance where you want to opt more for something like the R14 version with the belt drive, give you a little bit less concerns around grease and some of those different things. And for those of you not familiar, Tern knows a thing or two about cargo bikes. They've really been at the forefront of advancing electric cargo bike technology. They first introduced their GSD many years ago, and it's become one of the most popular electric cargo bikes in the industry. This is borrowing kind of some of that technology, some of those concepts, but expanding on it for maybe a bit of a different use case. For example, this part here is called captain's chair. This is their second generation of the captain's chair. I actually remember reviewing the first generation of it and putting Tara on the back, so it's ironic that she rode on the back of it here to this park where we are reviewing it, which is kind of cool. A little bit larger, a little bit more fitting for an adult. These cargo bikes, they're quite often made with accessories made to carry kids, but it's kind of cool to have the option to carry adults, and seeing more and more products kind of adapted to that. In the same vein, you can also set it up specifically to carry smaller kids, or even put a seatbelt around here if you have a bit of a bigger kid that maybe don't trust as much to hold themselves. So I guess my point being is there's loads of different options. You have another accessory called the Clubhouse Plus, which is more of a complete rail system that goes around. You can also put either inside the Clubhouse Plus or independently different child seats on the back here. Many different companies make them. Some of the more popular ones are from Yep and Thule, particularly in the US, but in Europe and other places you'll see some different options there. One thing to note, if you ever are putting this type of carrying system, you always want to have these side skirts on here. Really important because folks can kind of end up putting their feet in the chain or something like that. These are called the Stow decks, and they allow you to stow them away when you're not using them, but when you have passengers, it's really convenient to have substantial places to put your feet. Generally, when you use these, you might want to use these kickstand extensions, but the kickstand on here is standard, very stable, double leg kickstand, which is really important, and something that some of the other cargo bike brands don't really get too right. I think from my perspective, I think it's really important not to underinvest in this type of technology, because when you are loading kids on and off, you really need something that's going to be stable here. You have this really nice bag system here. It has a capacity for 2 batteries, comes standard with 1, uses the Bosch Smart System CX motor. In the US, it goes up to 20 miles an hour. In Europe, you're usually going to see a 25 kilometers per hour. A lot of torque to it, so 85 Newton meters of torque. The bike also comes standard with GPS tracking, which is really cool. There is a subscription that comes the first year free, but after that you pay like, I don't know, $4 a month or something like that. So it's nice though. It's just like a little bit helpful if you ever had your bike stolen or something like that. You can easily track it down. Outside of that, it really comes fitted with all sorts of different parts on it that make it really convenient for commuting on the bike, including fenders, lights. You know, whether you're riding at night or you're riding in the wet conditions like this, it's nice to have these options. But you can also easily remove them if you want. This is another add-on accessory here, this front rack up here. Other markets, they also have a 29-inch version, but this one has 27.5-inch wheels, but we'll get into those in a moment. So the bike's available in 2 different sizes. This is not really generally standard for a Tern, but a bike like this that's a bit more sporty, it is beneficial and having different sizes and adjusting that geometry a bit. This is the medium size, but it's also available in a large size. Something that's really important if you are riding a really sporty, more technical terrain, you really want to have that ride position correct and balance your weight correctly. It might take a little bit to get your fitment just right, so you definitely want to work with a shop or somebody experienced to kind of get that just right. So the weight of this bike is 81.8 pounds, be a little bit more with some of these extra accessories. And it has a max gross vehicle weight of up to 462 pounds on road or 397 pounds off road. For the S12 version, it's available in this Highland yellow, just kind of like a mustardy color, if I can say that. I'm colorblind, so maybe don't trust me too much on that one. But it's also available in a pine color. And then if you opt for the R14 version, keep in mind we're talking about the US because different places they have different colors. But the R14 is just available in granite. It is a bit more of a sporty bike. If you did want to be a bit more upright, you might want to opt for one of their other versions. In theory, you could change the handlebars, but Tern really takes their testing pretty seriously. I think a lot of other really well-respected companies in the industry do this as well, but it's something that hasn't really fully been adopted by a lot of companies because it's a bit more voluntary, but something that we highly recommend. There's a specific testing for cargo bikes. There's specific testing for electric mountain bikes. Tern exceeds both of these testing standards, and it's really important to consider this. So, of course, yeah, there's other handlebars that will fit this bike, but you want to make sure that they have the appropriate testing standards that can handle the weight and the forces that this bike might encounter. Same goes for the seat post. And these are some of these little details that also can contribute pretty significantly to the price. Yeah, you can choose like a $5, $10 seat post for the bike, but this seat post at retail is probably $60, $70. And that might not necessarily be something that you notice right away, especially if you're not that familiar with bikes. You might notice that the price tag of the bike is higher, but you might not know all that goes into it. And the Orox won the Eurobike Gold Award, which is regarded in the bike industry as one of the most important awards. Pretty respectable. One of the other things I think that makes Tern really special is they really listen to their riders, and pretty much everybody that works in the company is a rider themselves. It's kind of innate in their culture. This bike is a testament to that because the designers for Tern are primarily located in Finland, and actually there it snows quite a bit. And they really wanted to make sure that they had a bike that's very capable in those wintry months. And so that's part of the inspiration behind the Orox. It's not made just for the snow, but it's capable of riding the snow, sand, dirt, all sorts of stuff like that. And I think as somebody that rides the bike, you'll really appreciate some of those little finer details of how it really just works. I think that's probably it on this. We can start getting into some of the other details on the bike. So coming over to the front of the bike, we can check out the tires. Now, these are something kind of unique. These are the V-Rubber Snowball tires. They're 27.5 by 4, which is a relatively common fat tire size. So they have some flexibility if you want to opt for different options, but these are actually tires specifically designed for handling the snow. And they even have an option to add studs into them. Now, you could purchase them with studs, but the default option without studs, and you can actually get a kit that you can add studs into them. For those of you not familiar, if you're ever riding on ice, a standard tire might not necessarily grip that well, but adding studs gives you more confidence on some of those slippery surfaces. It's also tubeless ready, so you have the ability to run this without a tube, which can allow you to potentially run it at a little bit lower pressure, potentially more puncture protection. So if you were to puncture the tire, the sealant can actually reseal the tire, but it does require a bit more maintenance. So I recommend you consider that if you do want to go down that road. Through axle, it is the fat tire spacing, which is much larger than a standard spacing. This fork is proprietary by Tern, really heavy duty, and it's got all these nice attachment points so you can attach this rack, or if you wanted to attach different gear bags or water bottle cages or whatever the case may be. You have a lot of flexibility there. And you can also see this really heavy duty fender up here, which is quite nice as well. So come to the rear of the bike, we could check out the drivetrain, get a better look. We could actually move these Stow decks out of the way. This is actually an aftermarket add-on accessory, which is quite nice. Really good to put your feet down, but if you want to, you can kind of fold it up to different positions, and there's this locking pin here. And so if you have bags here, which are many options, you can kind of fold this away. You have these side skirts as well. So kind of pull this out of the way. So it's a Shimano Dior XT, which is a pretty premium mountain bike derailleur system, 12 speeds, really wide range of gears, something that you would find on a high quality mountain bike. But you also can get the R14 version, which has a electronically shifted, internally geared hub with the belt drive, which is really nice to keep the maintenance requirements at a minimum. Just kind of keep it pretty clean, occasionally maybe hose it off, especially if you're riding by the beach or something like that. And all the gears and everything like that are contained. So a nice option, especially if you're riding in some pretty dirty, even salty terrain. So coming up to the motor area, you can see this Bosch CX motor really well integrated into the frame, really heavy duty frame with a lot of additional reinforcements, which is something really important for these kind of heavy duty cargo bikes. Let's check out the motor from the other side. I think you could get a little bit of a better peek from there. So as you can see, this is the Bosch Performance Line CX motor. This is really one of their highest performing motors with 85 Newton meters of torque, quite a bit of power there. And one of the nice things about having the motor in the center here is you have really great control. Actually, one of my first times riding a fat bike, it was a hub motor, and I found it a bit challenging riding on looser terrain because the power dynamics would just really tend to spin out a lot easier. But having the motor in the center, having a lot more control with those pedals, really beneficial. Definitely something that I recommend. So this uses a technology called pedal assist. So it assists you as you pedal. And basically it's using 3 sensors, sensing how fast you're pedaling, how hard you're pedaling, and how fast the bike's going overall. Based on that information, it's providing a really intuitive experience to the rider. You can adjust the power from all different assistance levels, anywhere from about 50% assistance to upwards of over 300% assistance. You can control it through the display, but you also have options to go even further with changing the ride dynamics through an application called the Flow app. So for the battery on the bike, you have a couple different options. S12 version comes standard with a 725 watt hour battery, which is quite large. And it has the option to add a secondary battery, which goes inside of this opening here. Now, when you're not using the battery, or even if you are, you still have some extra storage capacity in here, which is quite nice. Now, the R14 version comes standard with an 800 watt hour battery, so just a little bit larger. So you can have up to 1600 watt hours of battery power, which is really quite impressive. I imagine also having the battery inside of this case also helps to improve the range. One of the challenges when you are riding in very cold conditions, the battery can depreciate a little bit more as far as its capacity, at least during that ride. Usually don't see very long-term effects, but you can charge the battery on the bike or off the bike. If you want to charge it on the bike, you just use this port right here. If you charge it off the bike, you just use the key to unlock it, and you can remove it and work with it there. So just close this up here. I really appreciate these little details though. I think it's quite nice as you're riding the bike, have these options to store things away, especially riding in different weather conditions. It's not completely waterproof, but pretty water resistant. So for the brakes on the bike, we have the Magura MT5 quad piston calipers, very capable, running 203 millimeter rotors, which is one of the largest size rotors out there, and they're pretty thick at that as well. So really quite capable, really good at displacing heat. As we come to the handlebars, one thing you'll notice is it's raining a little bit, but that's actually not a problem with the Bosch system. It's specifically made to be able to handle those sort of conditions, which is kind of important considering if you are going to take it into all these different sort of tough terrain and weather conditions and snow and rain. It's rated to IP54, which means that basically it's like rain and dust proof. It's not meant to be submerged, but we'll turn it on and kind of go through some of these different options here. So you turn on the display here. This is the Kiox 300, and you do have an option for a larger display. There's all sorts of different display options with the smart system that you can run into. Here by default is showing you some of the different range options depending on what level of assistance you're using, which is kind of cool. In theory, these range options would be double with the second battery, or even potentially more if you have that 800 watt hour battery. This one's the 725, and it's only at 72%, but we'll get onto the main screen here. This will tell you the speed of the bike. You can change the different assistance levels. As you change, it changes the color here as well as on the thumb controller, which is really quite nice. You have loads of different options. including this e-mountain bike mode, which gives you a lot of flexibility in how it provides assistance, operates really efficiently, gives you that really sporty feel, but plenty of power to get you up those mountains. But if you want to have max power all the time, running a turbo mode is a great way to go. Loads of different information here, and there's a lot of different videos specifically on the display, so I'm not going to get too deep into that, but some other features important to note. So it does also have this walk assist, so you just hold this down, and if you basically push the bike forward for a little bit, it will activate the walk assist, just assist you as you move the bike along. Especially helpful if you have a heavy load. Have the ability to turn the lights on and off with this little button here. And then you have a high beam here. Nice little flick bell here, really nice sound to it. And then you can see we have the shifters up here as well. So this would be for the derailleur system. Well equipped and really ready to take on adventure. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to learn more about this bike, you can check out the links below. You can also reach out to our team. We're happy to help you learn more about the bike, learn about different configurations and that sort of thing. I'm really looking forward to taking this bike out into the mountains, especially the ability to like take my daughter out and go camping or something like that. So maybe we'll make a future video in that sort of way. But if you have experience with this bike or you have your own ideas about what you might like to do, leave them in the comments below, and I look forward to seeing you in a future video. Well, take care.